So this is Dan of 𝗙𝗏𝗄𝐻. And we are in Antigua, Guatemala. This was the capital of all of Central America when Spain was in charge of this place during the colonial period. And that's why it's so ornate, so beautiful, and such a great place to visit, and one of the best places in Latin America to live if you're considering living. And let's look at the first stop on this walking tour. If you enjoy this video, there's a Google map that you can take this tour, and there's information about each stop on the tour. We'll give you a link at the end. So this is the Merced Church. The church was built by the Mercedarians, Catholics. It was completed in 1767. The Mercedarians were best known for buying Christian slaves captured by Muslims during the Holy Wars in the 12th century. But here they built this church, and it was completed in 1767. They're also known to have given a vow to die if necessary to save another's religious faith. This is the most famous wooden statue in the church here. It was carved and completed in Italy in 1650 and brought over here by boat. It was carved 100 years before this church was built.
So this is Dios Casales.
Sí, quetzales.
For 20 quetzales, porque this, my birthright is only 40.
So this colonial era building in front of us is the Santa Catalina Convent, and inside you can see some of the floats that are used for various ceremonies like Easter when there's no coronavirus happening. They carry these down the street to depict scenes from the Bible. And the most famous landmark in Antigua, Guatemala is right in front of you now. That's the Santa Catalina Arch. And this was an arch built that went between the convent on your right and a school that was on your left. And the nuns could cross from the convent to the school without being seen. They were cloistered. Of course, they weren't seen by the public. And the top here, there's a clock that was added about 100 years later, but this is the most famous landmark in Antigua. So this is the Cappuccinos Convent. It was completed in 1736. It only lasted about 47 years before it was destroyed by an earthquake. The Spanish crown started this one because there were no convents in Antigua that were for women of good families but no means or had no money. Most of the other convents, the families had to pay a bunch of money to get their daughters in. But this also had about half of the nuns were from wealthy families, and they had to pay a good sum of money, and they were allowed slaves. They dressed in fine clothing, often silk, and they ate very good meals, and they had chocolate every day. And the poor nuns, they took care of the place. They took care of the grounds, and were dressed in peasant nun clothing, and were not allowed any chocolate. So maybe Jesus wasn't so happy, so he brought this down in an earthquake. Gracias.
Daniel,
What?
how is the chocolate? Let me see. Hey.
Hey. It's good, not too sweet.
No. Let me try my one. My one's very good.
Mine's macadamia chocolate. Hers is almond chocolate.
We all love nut because we are nut.
So this is the Santo Domingo ruins of the Santo Domingo Convent, and they have a chocolate shop here. So we decided to get a bite. Excellent.
Excellent.
You have to do it. Come eat chocolate. All right, let's go to the museum.
Let's go.
So now we're in the Santo Domingo Monastery. This monastery was started in 1538, and I guess the hotel bought the grounds and they've kind of fixed it up a little bit. These are just the ruins here we're looking at, and the hotel has preserved some of it and made like gift shops into other part of it, but it was the Dominicans arrived here in 1538 and started building this monastery. And you may know the Dominicans preached in the vernacular or the local language instead of Latin. Latin continued into for a long time. In fact, my father had to learn Latin in school to be able to be an altar boy. But the Dominicans believed that that Christ should be more accessible, and so they preached in the local languages. So this monastery was Dominicans. The monastery, like a lot of Antigua, was destroyed by a Category 8 earthquake in 1773. And right now we're in what was the Catholic Church portion of the monastery. This would have been the altar here. Okay, so Antigua is probably the most expensive city in Guatemala, but this is an amazing, typical Guatemalan meal. It's $4.50 each. It includes tortilla, the soup, the drink, and look at the entree. Chung has a chicken there with salad and potatoes, and I've got rice, potato, and avocado, and black beans, and more potato. So I actually ate here when I was here in 2013. So I found this place and I was like, I've been here before. It's been here a long time. So what should we call it? We call it 2013 restaurant. So if you were rich during colonial times, you would have a laundry in your house, so you wouldn't have to go to a public laundry, but otherwise you'd be going to a public laundry, which is where I'm headed, that yellow building in front of me. So this is what a public laundry looked like during colonial era times. And in fact, when I was here in 2013, there were still 2 women washing their laundry in these. And you just put your laundry in here, get a couple of cups of or gallons of water, a little soap, and you scrub on there, and then rinse it in the water when you're done. That, my friends, is the laundry. And like everywhere else in Antigua, there's also a huge abandoned church right here that died in the 17, I can't remember what year earthquake, but they're all over town. You want to do some laundry while we're here, dear?
I watch you do laundry, dear.
Watch me?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the Antigua Roman Catholic Cathedral. It was built the first time in 1541. It survived several earthquakes before it was demolished by an earthquake in 1669. It was rebuilt again in 1680 and was the largest cathedral in Central America by 1743. But it was destroyed again by the Great Earthquake of 1773. That was an 8.0. In 1779, the cathedral was moved to Guatemala City. This formal cathedral has been partially rebuilt and functions just as a simple Roman Catholic church now. And of course, is the oldest church in the Antigua. It's on the 𝗓𝗡𝗓 Park Square, which we're looking at next. So this is Park Central in Antigua. For more than 200 years, this has functioned as the center stage for the Spanish colony of Guatemala. The Guatemala colony included almost all of Central America, including the countries now known as Guatemala, Belize, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and the southern part of Mexico. The state of Chiapas, Mexico, that is. This was center stage for the Spanish Crown's governance in Central America for hundreds of years and still today. This is where people come to enjoy their favorite time, people watching. And the mermaid fountain here in the center was built by 𝗂𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗄𝗅 in 1737. If you haven't been to Antigua, unless you've sat on one of these park benches around here for an hour and watched the world float by, the beautiful people and all the sights of Guatemala. So the last stop on this Old Town walking tour is this central mercado, which you have to be able to locate and use if you plan on living cheap anywhere in Latin America. And that's behind me right here. This is where the map's going to take you. You can go in there and buy souvenirs, but in the back there's a market where everything's cheaper, and we're going to follow Chung. She's going to take us there, and I'm going to speed up the camera. So you just turn right from where we were, go 2 to 3 blocks, find this arch, and that's where the cheap prices are on food, vegetables, flowers. That's the Livable Market.
And actually, the big market is Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, so it will be more people here. And right now it's afternoon, so
Wednesday. So thanks for joining us on our walking tour of Antigua. Hey, if you liked our video, please like, comment, or subscribe. Any of that would help our business. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our video. Click the link in the notes below this video to get a copy of this content. Plus, grab a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World for 13 Years. While you're there, check out our catalog of retired cheap reports all over the world and our hobby income course that we just released. Thanks so much.